PlayStation console has been a major player in the growing video game industry since the 90s, and has had a well-deserved reputation for providing some of the best and most varied games, at least until the Xbox came along and started competing against it. As the technology changed with each new iteration of the console, so did the games, and that also left behind quite a few well-loved games which were never or barely developed upon in the new systems. I personally remember games such as Nuclear Strike and Colony Wars series taking up a lot of my free time whilst growing up, and still have happy memories playing them. And it turns out I wasn't the only one who felt this way. So Sony, in their infinite commercial wisdom, decided to reintroduce the old PlayStation console with games in 2018. This sounded great, but with so many great games in one small package, although Sony put it better with the words, "a gaming icon reimagined." Now this little phrase is a bit sinister than I thought it would be, or indeed could be. Sony makes it very clear that this new PlayStation Classic is 45% smaller and seemed designed to sit on the shelf when not in use. Now for the reality. The reason the console is small, and at least in my opinion, is because if you actually open it up, it's just a small PCB board with external connections. There's no additional hardware in there, which is because it runs using freeware which emulates PS1 games. Notice I said free when I said freeware, because this emulator, which is one of several available online, which are also free, as are the games. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. PS1 Classic also only comes with a mere 20 pre-selected games which you cannot change or even add to, let alone remove, and this versus hundreds that you can simply just search for online. The performance of these games is also not quite as good either, including noticeable frame rate drops which actually makes playing some games a huge chore and rather unpleasant. So much for a classic reimagined, they actually managed to make it worse. Well done Sony, well done. And I have to wonder which executive managed to get all the dubious narcotics and expensive women that day. But for me, the real icing on the cake is the price. $100 in 2018, and is still at $99 today. Quite frankly, I believe this was and still is a slap in the face to those who are loyal to the brand, because basically what they have done is repackaged something that's free, made it worse, and then charge you for an overpriced novelty. It should be illegal, but it probably isn't, which shows just how slow and undeveloped the gaming and electronic and entertainment industry is in regards to regulation and laws. The kind of regulation and laws that should help ensure fair trading and ensure that the consumer isn't treated like a pig in a trough that will consume anything if it's got the right label on it. I find this level of contempt particularly disgusting when it is directed to the very people that made their company what it is today. That is to say, you and me, the consumer. Anyway, if you're like me and enjoy jumping to PS1 games every now and again, then stay tuned. If you're not aware of how or even where to find them, then I'll show you how to access these games. Okay, so you want to get PS1 games online. It's very simple, you just type in PS1 games online. You can try this website. There are plenty of others that actually offer some differences. As you can see here, I've already got quite a wide selection of games, plus there's a whole bunch more. Now, I rather like Nuclear Strike, so I'm going to type that in. Bingo. Play the game. So you have to wait for it to load up for a second or two. And hey presto, you've got yourself all the fun in the world. There are other websites which actually offer slightly different features. This one I think doesn't actually let you have a lot of the FMV cutscenes, and quite a few of the sounds are taken out, but it is still playable. You can actually save your progress as well. That's all free and not $99. That's all there is to say about that. Have fun! That's all for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on the Brad Review Show.